Hello and welcome everybody back to the Critical Spectrum podcast. My name is Colin Steele, joined by my co-hosts.
Frank, the man.
I'm Matt, the gay one.
I'm Michael, the other guy.
The Destroyer.
The Destroyer.
That's the name
Great.
around here.
Great intro, guys.
It was great.
It was better than last week.
Yeah. Woo!
Woo!
Rise up!
And here on this Critical Spectrum podcast, we talk about basically anything that piques our interest, but mainly it's just movies, shows, and video games. But, just anything that we really find interesting. And today, we're talking about Wonder Woman 1984 and our best movies, shows, and video games of 2020. Who would like to start off our thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984? I know Frank has some opinions.
Honestly, Colin, you should go first.
Okay.
Frank wants to savor this moment. He needs to really he needs to recollect his thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. So
DC guy over here.
So overall, I mean, I had never seen the first Wonder Woman, but I watched both of them in the span of 2 days just to really like the first one. Had some qualms about the message of the end, but 1984, I will say, is kind of an inferior movie in my opinion.
Which
But I get the angle they were going for, because it seems to me like the original Wonder Woman was going for the stereotypical DC dark, like, oh, we're so edgy vibe, But this one definitely was going for more of a nostalgia, like classic Wonder Woman show from like the 70s or 80s. They had like a whole mall scene that I know Frank and Matt remember from the beginning. It's like she's saving a bunch of people in the malls playing the old school Wonder Woman theme. I thought that part was great. It's very nostalgic. I will say Kristen Wiig, when I first heard her, she was cast as Cheetah, I was like, really, Kristen Wiig?
Honestly, I saw her and I was like, why?
Right? Like I've never seen her in anything other than like a comedy role, but I will say she does a really good job at Cheetah in my opinion. And whoever designed the CG/makeup or whatever that they did for her actually made it not look creepy like Cats, the movie.
Maybe they should have just said Cats the movie.
I think they could have.
First? No, go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say I think they could have added maybe a bit more color to the Cheetah transformation. It also doesn't help that some of the fights later on took place at night. But I think that for a film that is really embracing the newer DC like color design philosophy of just like bright and vibrant, they could have applied that same methodology to designing Cheetah. And also going back to what you were saying, Colin, about like the way that the first film was designed, you're right. It did come from a time where DC was kind of making its films sort of similar in terms of visual style. But I do think that tonally, I think the first film did have, a good balance of its darker elements while still having some heart and some personality throughout. And I think I think something that we'll notice through this review is that there were things that happened in the first Wonder Woman that are drastically different from the way that this new Wonder Woman film. And it's the differences between the two films that make the negative things that I feel about the sequel that much stronger, because it feels like a film produced by a completely different team, and yet
It does.
And yet it really isn't, because it's the same director and it's the same cast. They didn't really change anything. And that's, I think, what makes this film so... It makes it such an oddball.
It's because it's in a completely different setting. Going from World War I to the 80s, it's just... I feel like it just... And they kind of made it more based on their love story, almost, as like the front thing of the movie, opposed to the like action of the first one.
Right. Where they also focus more on like the action. Like the first one was less of love story, more of like,
which it had a good amount in it.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong,
awesome.
it did, but it also had the aspect of like, oh, this is like her first foray into the normal human world.
Oh, it was so.
That was like one of the biggest things that I think most people got like enjoyment out of, was seeing her like integrate herself into like humankind. My
favorite part of the first Wonder Woman movie is when Steve Trevor is bathing in like the little ponds in Themyscira, and Wonder Woman comes down and he's like naked, and she's like, is that what male genitalia looks like? It was so funny.
Well, specifically, she's just like,
is it big? Is that the right size?
Well, she asks like, how would you like rate yourself compared to other men?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Do you guys remember when he's on the boat with her and he's like, "You're afraid to sleep with me"? He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna sleep over here." She's like, "You don't sleep with women?" He's like, "I sleep with women, but like."
Oh yeah,
like,
believe me.
Oh, believe me.
I just liked that it wasn't like such a fish out of water moment that like she was oblivious. Like she's well read. Like she knows.
She's like, I've read all 12 chapters of The Pleasures of Flesh.
That was great.
Got me.
So first like big thing I want to talk about with Wonder Woman 84. Hans Zimmer did the music. I gotta be honest, Hans Zimmer doesn't thrill me anymore. He really doesn't. And because Hans Zimmer, when you think of him, his name comes up in the same breath as people like Lorne Balfe or other big composers who've done stuff for movies and video games. But I wasn't thrilled with his work here for two reasons. One, he doesn't use the Wonder Woman theme, which is realistically...
Was that not the Wonder Woman theme they use in the mall? I swear that was like from the older show.
Well, but that's like from the old show. I'm talking about the Wonder Woman theme from the new... Okay, don't.
I know what you're talking about, Matt.
They don't use that at all, and that is like the best, and really, if you think about it, the only lasting like musical theme from this cinematic universe. Like, there was some of the stuff that Zimmer had made for Man of Steel, and even some great tracks that Junkie XL had made for Batman vs Superman, but that Wonder Woman theme that Junkie XL created and that was then reused by Rupert Gregson-Williams is really one of the most iconic pieces of music from this DC universe. And I'm not kidding you, they use that theme in Wonder Woman 84 for maybe 10 seconds at most. And
honestly, I think that's probably the most iconic. Like, I can't think of any other piece of music from the DC universe. I'm like, yeah, that's DC.
I mean, other than maybe
music for The Dark Knight.
That might have been Hans Zimmer, because he works with Nolan a lot.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'm looking it up.
But like, other than when I think of like classic superhero like themes, I think of stuff like Danny Elfman's Batman theme. Or I think of the John Williams Superman theme, which I think still kind of ranks as like one of the best ever. But now Wonder Woman like has her own theme because of these movies, and to not utilize that is just very strange. And I miss Rupert Gregson-Williams' score from the first film, because to me it kind of felt like it took inspiration from Junkie XL and their work on like Mad Max Fury Road. Like there's the track in the soundtrack Action Reaction, which is the end credits theme to Wonder Woman. Which if you watched to the end of Wonder Woman and saw like the cool like graphic like end credits, like that song just got my blood pumping right at the end of the movie. And a lot of the other songs, like it could have that really intense like heavy use of drums, but it could also have a more romantic swelling of orchestra during stuff like the No Man's Land scene. And I didn't, to wrap up my point, I didn't feel super emotional at all with the music in this new Wonder Woman film.
Well, I feel like that wasn't really the point. They were going for more of a campy vibe, I felt, which isn't a bad thing, but it was a lot more nostalgic and campy based, like an old school superhero movie, like Adam West.
Well, true, but even in older films, even in those old classics, like music plays a big role in the way that I enjoy media.
Right.
And if you look even at those old classics, you look at the old Superman film, which I would say that Wonder Woman 84 shares a lot of similarities in terms of tone and campiness to like the old, to those old Superman films from back in the day. You know, they had like at least one theme that was a recurring piece throughout the film that will like when a certain song plays in a movie, it just gets you pumped. It could be a licensed song, it could be something they scored, but to me, having a film like Wonder Woman exist in any capacity and having a score like that, it just feels like a missed opportunity to not have that same amount of effort put into this soundtrack. That feels like a detracting factor for me, and that music was a big letdown for me in that sense with this film.
Yep.
Well, part of I'm gonna.
No, yeah, you go for it.
So,
Yeah.
I will say, gonna say it now. I have not watched the movie, but I have heard a lot about it, and I've read a few not interviews, but reviews and stuff like that. And at least from what I'm been gathering, I don't think they were really going for a like cinematic, like not exactly cinematic, but more of like an epic, an epic movie, so to speak. In that like there's no like grand fights or there's no grand scenes where like the music needs to swell to that height. I think what they were really going for, which might be to the detriment of the movie overall, they're really going into the fact that she's more of trying to be low key, because obviously they kind of shot themselves in the foot with the fact that in Batman versus Superman, the world's not supposed to see anything about Wonder Woman after World War I or whenever it was. Like that's the last time or first time they're supposed to see her and then never see her again. So it's like this movie has to shoehorn itself in between that timeline with making her be a low-key superhero, which I think she's not supposed to be overall. I think that's why the music isn't supposed to hit that kind of high, so to speak. I guess you could say from there.
Not at all, because I agree with you there, but it's not very subtle when she's beating the shit out of like jewelry store robbery in the middle of the mall.
I mean, hey, they didn't have cameras. I mean, they did.
Yeah, they did, because she had to destroy them with she had to destroy the cameras. Which I was talking about this with my dad earlier. I feel like with the way that they set it up, obviously, she has this, Diana Prince, her secret identity, and she's working at the Smithsonian. So she has this career in which she's getting close to history, which in a sense dictates her some of her work. If there's something suspicious going on, she, being the person she is, will go investigate and stop whatever stuff. It's just that because of the way that Batman versus Superman and because of the way that Justice League were written, it establishes this idea that she has been playing it really low key. And considering that this film is as happy and as bright as it is, and it's not like the film ends in a way, not to spoil it, but this isn't exactly a film that is going to that has the objective of
uplifting you.
Well, this is I'd say it is a film that's meant to uplift you. I think that the problem is that means that Wonder Woman, like, what reason does she have to further become like a recluse between then and the moment that she's working with the Justice League? Because a big part of her arc is her being kind of confronted on the fact that she was sort of, a recluse. And this is an issue where, I'm so happy that DC is giving directors more freedom to make the movies that they want to make. But, part of and I've criticized in the past Marvel for not often giving enough directors the opportunity to do stuff that's truly unique. Instead, they go and do stuff that's more similar tonally or thematically or narratively. The thing is, though, the part of the reason that Marvel succeeds at its best is because they have a way of having a minimum guarantee of like continuity that's tying everything together. Like, okay, this makes sense for this to happen at the time it's happening, especially if it's like a movie like Captain Marvel that takes place in the middle of a huge timeline spanning decades. It makes sense. I just prefer it if creators were then able to were given a certain amount of creative freedom past that threshold. I think Wonder Woman 84 does certain things stylistically, narratively, in terms of the way the characters are produced and like introduced, that goes against continuity in a way where that makes you look at the other films that have already happened and go like, well, how the hell does that make sense? Colin?
So, are we spoiling stuff? I don't think we ever said that.
I don't think we should.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
because I wanted to make a really big plot hole at the end. Just point that out.
How long do you think it's gonna be?
It's gonna take
the next 30 seconds.
It's next like minute. If you don't want spoilers, skip to a minute ahead of this.
Okay,
I like it.
So, the movie involves at some point the president of the United States, which is supposed to be Reagan. Doesn't look anything like Reagan. That's not what I'm making this point of. But he wishes for the Americans to have more nukes, which causes the Soviets and Americans to fire nukes at each other. But I would just like to point out, at least not on screen, no Russian or Soviet man or woman or whatever wished for more nukes. So at the end of the movie where they all renounce their wishes, those Russian nukes that would have been launched don't disappear. America's fucked. Everyone's dead.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else I was just thinking?
Because they wished them.
No, but those are all the wishes they renounce, though. So there's no new wishes.
The Russians didn't make. What he's saying is the Russians didn't wish for more nukes. So the nukes that.
But the reason the Russians launched the nukes was because of the Americans' wish. So if that wish is gone.
No, but that doesn't change the fact that they launched them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that.
So I just imagine that part where Max Lord is hugging his son in the middle of the field. There's just bombs going off in the background.
I'm also. Why wouldn't they just, instead of wishing for more nukes than the Russians, why wouldn't he just wish that the Russians can't make nukes?
Look, Reagan wasn't that smart. I don't know. Dude, I don't know.
Well, fun fact, and my dad pointed this out immediately because I've been thinking the same thing. The actor who's playing Reagan in the movie is the same guy who played Nixon in the season 6 premiere of Doctor Who.
He's obviously just really presidential.
Apparently, yeah. But I just the whole time I was just thinking, like, man, this guy is getting typecast, but like not properly. It was very strange. Frank?
Oh, my thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie had a ton of hype coming out. The first one was great. They had been pushing it. It was supposed to come out in the beginning of fall or something like that.
It's literally like the first superhero movie to come out in like almost like half a year or more. Too.
It's also Wonder Woman, who's
one of the bigger ones.
Probably the biggest female superhero.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, her first movie was groundbreaking, so it's this hyped movie, and I'm gonna say I think it was a letdown, but that doesn't mean it was bad. I think it's like any time we go into something with such high hopes, and it's like not. Yeah, I mean, not exactly.
I mean,
Cyberpunk
kind of.
is really.
I mean,
good
don't get me
stuff.
wrong; it has glitches and stuff, but like,
you don't need to talk about
that.
It was a good movie. It wasn't perfect. It had its like weird moments, and I question why they did some things, but they have so much to do with Wonder Woman 2. Think about where they could have gone after the first movie too, and then they chose to just focus on her relationship with what's his name? Steve Trevor.
I'm gonna say Chris Pine.
Yeah,
which is cool. I really did like it. My favorite part of the movie was after she like realized Steve was gone, and then she like flew up into the skies and started flying like he did because he was a pilot, and she started actually flying, which was pretty cool.
Wait, can she fly? Is that
She
like a
can
Wonder
fly.
Woman thing?
Apparently.
Yes, Wonder Woman can fly.
Oh, I didn't-
That's another thing. That's
How do you think her and Superman be making out in the skies and shit?
I thought she had like an invisible jet or some shit. Like,
Okay.
Oh, she does, and
Yes.
she gets that in this movie, which is fucking awesome.
Oh,
And then
The movie has
validates
a
it.
lot of really, really good parts, but then it has some weird parts in it that you're
yeah.
like,
Wait, if she gets
what?
she gets an invisible jet, but then she also just fly. Like now, why does she need a jet for?
I feel like that was just the
she started
canon
flying
thing.
after.
Right, but like, I guess yeah.
She started flying after because Steve inspired her to fly after she was lassoing onto like lightning and clouds and shit. And
wait. So that was
Spider-Man from the sky.
that was really, and that I really liked that element of things. The way that because they established in this particular cinematic universe, like, yeah, Wonder Woman can't fly, so they gave her a different method of traversal that I thought was really cool. In that she was basically using she was just using the lasso and its magic to just grab onto clouds and lightning and stuff like that. That's what I thought was really interesting. So that's why this is another example of the film's continuity, like, kind of screwing itself over, because
Did she fly in Batman versus Superman?
no, she only jumped. I mean, they didn't ever show that explicitly, so no, we never really got the sense that she could fly
Yeah,
necessarily.
did she fly in Justice League either?
Well, we're getting
No.
new ones, so we're good.
Exactly, but so they had to introduce a new method for her to fly. So it's less that she's flying and more that she's using the lasso, and then it's like half flying. It doesn't matter because the flying looks terrible.
Yeah, see,
Holly-
that's my issues with it.
Hollywood-
some of it just looks really bad.
We've known how to make people look cool while flying since the 70s. And
They
somehow
put
now,
Mark Hamill's face on another man. It made him look good. Like, do
well,
some
yeah,
shit.
it was like, it looked like 85% good there. So why can't we make the flying here look as great as it did
As
back
Man
in the
of
day?
Steel, maybe that's
Yes.
absolutely fucking
Listen.
fantastic, and it's the same fucking.
The movie Hancock did flying well.
Yeah, yeah.
Why can't this movie
It was
do
bad,
now?
and some of the running was really bad. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Smallville, but when Clark and Impulse run in that show, like, just look it up on YouTube. It's disgusting, and it looks better than Wonder Woman.
Well,
But see,
So fucking hilarious.
I don't know whether that was because, again, for the nostalgia thing, like they were trying to make it look bad,
They're
or
trying
if
to
it was
make it
just
like they
actual
filmed it in
bad.
the 1600s. What
Yes.
the fuck is nostalgic about that?
Look,
I mean, I get what Colin's saying, because sometimes you make something look intentionally kind of off for the sake of selling an aesthetic, right?
But that means like the whole thing should be that aesthetic at that
it
point.
is though. I feel like it's very 70s Wonder Woman. I feel like
But
You
then,
mean 80s?
whenever the show came out.
yeah, and
The
I,
show came out in the
70s, I'm sorry.
70s, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
it's 1984.
Which, did you guys watch the end credit scene?
yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that later. But
I didn't. I thought I looked for one, couldn't find it.
what?
Because it's
Terrible.
'cause
2
it's-
episodes in a row with this motherfucker.
Well,
Yeah, wait, you missed fucking Mandalorian's end credit and
Okay, but this one I specifically looked for. And
it was
I
a
didn't
mid
find
mid credit, because it was a mid credit. It wasn't a
Oh,
post credit. It was a
okay.
mid credit.
Uh,
That's why. Colin wasn't in the wrong. I missed that too at first.
well, the movie was good. The CGI looked weird. At first, I thought Cheetah was terrible because when she first came in, she was just wearing like a cheetah jacket with a little more eyeliner and some cheetah high heels. I was like, oh no, sweetie, they did not just do that. That's fucking horrendous. And then they made her look like Cheetah at the end.
Well, she looked cool though. She
looked cool, but not cool as Cheetah though.
But if you
Like,
watch the trailer, you knew she was gonna further transform. So like,
oh well, I didn't watch the trailer.
yeah,
Oh,
Frank
okay.
makes it a point. He doesn't want to spoil anything.
right, okay.
Sometimes I watch the trailer. It just depends.
Yeah.
But Gal Gadot is fucking awesome as Wonder Woman. I think that her and Henry Cavill are both born to play their roles. They're both awesome. I love Steve Trevor. He's a really cool character. Pedro Pascal was fucking amazing as Maxwell Lord.
I would agree.
Max Lord. I don't know if it's called Maxwell, but That was really cool. Everyone is shitting on the whole stone thing. I like it. It's a comic book movie. Fuck off. Like it's good. I like it.
And I think it adds to the camp that Colin was talking. The Maxwell Lord, his kind of bumbling about with this power that he obviously can't control, and the way that it's, you know, kind of tearing away at his life, and you know, the way he's just kind of constantly digging deeper. I felt I liked that this villain, that they didn't just pull a fast one on us at the end, because there's a lot of superhero films where, like, at the end, like, that they'll introduce a larger bad guy that'll just be a nod to the comics, and then it'll be like, whoa, it's that guy. They didn't do that here. They clearly let the villain be Maxwell Lord, and they let the threat of the film be not necessarily a world-ending threat, but instead just human compulsion and what people are capable of doing when they have access to power that is beyond them. And that's why I really liked Pedro Pascal. It reminded me kind of like of this self-destructiveness and that personal motivation that you'd see in something like Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn back in the first Spider-Man film.
I was just about to say that, Matt. The villain of Max Lord reminded me of a Sam Raimi Spider-Man villain.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way.
Okay.
He was awesome.
In a great way, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, realistically, all of the villains of Sam Raimi were pretty great, except for Venom. I think he was terrible. But the other ones are good. But Eric Foreman as Venom, that also does not have an actual fucking brain for itself.
You remember when he went to church, and the only reason he was there at the church was because he was praying to God to kill Peter Parker? God, can you please kill Peter Parker?
And then Peter is just up there, like, ripping this bitch off and shit, like, get off me.
Venom looked really cool. Venom looked really cool in that movie.
Peter Parker, I lost my photography job.
But Venom looked so cool in that movie, but they kept insisting on peeling his face back to reveal Topher Grace.
Well, also, he looked cool, but I think he was, first off, a little too thin. Like, he looked more like Carnage.
That's fair.
And then he also couldn't speak for himself. Like, you didn't know that it was his own, like, living being. You were just like...
Yeah, they did. I don't know. And
it was funny.
Just last thing on Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, before we, like,
this would be a fantastic topic, by the way. Let us know if you want to hear us talk about this. But the fact that Venom's symbiote making his first appearance on the big screen, he just shoots out of the sky and lands on the ground randomly and crawls up on Spider-Man while he's hooking up with Mary Jane.
Crawls on his motorcycle.
He crawls on a motorcycle. I forgot about that. And he comes out from under the bed like a monster or some shit and just attaches onto him. Like, get the fuck out of here. Go to space to get your symbiote.
Yeah, like a real man.
That was kind of a cool scene, though, where it's like latching itself onto him, and then he just wakes up and he's outside. Oh,
but
man.
The whole concept is terrible.
Sam Raimi, great director. All right, back to Wonder Woman. As Colin was saying, it kind of reminded you of a Sam Raimi Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, it reminded me of Doc Ock in a way. You know,
yeah.
how he's like good at first, but he kind of just goes crazy because of, like, I don't know,
power.
Temptation of power. But I would
Precious
like to
tritium.
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
This isn't really a spoiler, but what Kristen Wiig's character lets Max Lord do with the stone. I've worked at a museum for a number of years. If she was caught doing that, she'd fucking be out of there in 2 seconds. She'd be gone. Like, oh my god, that pissed me off. But
Colin, being a well-known museum aficionado, it does not agree with that plot. And
fix your movie.
Fix your movie, DC. Fix your movie.
Actually, you're inaccurate from a museum curator.
Yeah,
you're factually inaccurate from the time 1984.
Yeah.
DC thinks if the Snyder Cut works out, DC's just gonna wing out on every movie and then be like, "Oh, they didn't like it? Bust out the we didn't cut," or whatever the fuck they're gonna do. They just like change it to make it better.
Yeah, honestly though.
Well, because
this is really what we really wanted to do, but
this is what we meant to do. We're just gonna do what you guys said we should have done.
It's just gonna turn into an industry of them. It'll become a point.
What happened?
It'll get to a point where it's not even because studios don't believe in it. It's just because they'll just be like, all right, we're gonna bring in Peter Jackson, and then we're gonna fire him, and then we're gonna fire him, and then we're gonna bring another director, and then we're gonna make another movie, and it's gonna be whatever, and then people are gonna complain because women or something, and then we're gonna bring in, and then we're gonna bring him back. It's gonna be like mad scientists, just like how can we get more money from people? That'll be beautiful.
Taking notes here, DC.
Yeah, I shouldn't give them ideas because now they're gonna release. Now they really are gonna release that Suicide, like the Ayer cut, the David Ayer cut of Suicide.
Yeah, sorry, my
Squad.
headphone fucked up for a second. That's why you might have heard me say, "Are they talking?"
I didn't, so I think you're in the clear. But yeah,
no, I know. I can assume what you're talking about. They're fucking. If the Snyder Cut succeeds, they're gonna do that whole Suicide Squad thing, and then make the 2 new more Justice League movies, and then they're gonna make the Batfleck Batman movie, which I want to see. But...
True, I do want to see that. I just hope they don't roll back so far that they stop doing what they've been doing lately by like allowing directors to have that freedom. Because for the record, I actually
they should almost let Ben Affleck do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah,
like, that
they
man,
better
just let him do it. I just want to see him and whatever his name is,
John DiMaggio?
Some Italian last name.
the guy from the movie about the male strippers.
Yes, the guy who plays D&D.
He's gonna be Deathstroke, which that's gonna be
whatever his name is. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Deathstroke is so cool too, but I don't know how I feel about an entire Batman movie with just Deathstroke as the villain though. Because Deathstroke is like a mercenary. He's also like a Teen Titans villain.
He's also just Deadpool.
Can I just say, in what universe do children beat Deathstroke? Speaking of
in the universe where children have superpowers, Colin.
Well, it's not about children beating Deathstroke. It's how many
teenagers.
You're right. The power of teamwork.
Well, no, it's how many
friendship.
You're right. I'm sorry.
The power of friendship.
It's how many kids are required to beat one Deathstroke. That's the question.
True. I mean, one of the kids is an alien, Starfire, who has like beams shooting out of her hands. Raven is also the daughter of Trigon, who's basically like Satan, Cyborg, Beast Boy. Do I need to name anyone else?
Yeah,
I think they're good.
And then Robin's a given, so like
Robin's just a beast. He's
Robin's
basically like
dead in 2 seconds in reality. I'm just
with Deathstroke. No,
yes,
no.
Bruh. No,
what are you talking about?
Don't even start this, bro.
Colin.
Which Robin are you talking about, huh?
Colin, Robin.
Like OG Teen Titans show.
OG.
Yeah, and I'm saying that
Nightwing would beat the shit out of Deathstroke. Don't even get me started.
Don't even at me, bro.
You do realize you're talking about the guy who's trained by Batman, right? Like he'll be fine.
Yeah, but he's still like 13.
Colin.
Bodybuilder mercenaries could fucking.
Colin,
no,
you need to realize,
Damian
Colin.
Wayne, Batman's son, beat his ass as a child.
Colin,
Deathstroke is a piece of shit.
Colin, you need to realize you're talking to 2 Batman fans, and remember, Batman is a god.
All right, I can already tell this is going to go on for a long time, so we're going to go to a quick ad break, and then when we return, we're going to finish up our thoughts on Wonder Woman 84, and then we're going to discuss the best movies, TV shows, and games from 2020. Thanks for listening. How many times have you thought about making a podcast? You've got a solid idea, tons of enthusiasm, and co-hosts that you have great chemistry with. But how often do those ideas end up going nowhere?
Where should you host it? Where will you have the best reach? How do you start making money? These are some of the barriers that keep people like you from pulling the trigger and starting a podcast.
It should be easier, and thankfully it can be.
Anchor is a completely free hosting platform for podcasts. You can upload files yourself or even record and edit with Anchor's creation tools right from your phone or computer. Best of all, Anchor distributes your podcast to every podcasting hub imaginable, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or some you probably haven't even heard of.
You can make money doing what you love with no minimum listenership required. It hardly gets any easier than this.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. So anyway, Batman, overrated movie villain. But back
to back,
villain. I like you said villain.
Whatever. Yes,
Overrated
villain.
villain. The Batman who laughs.
Batman would beat all of the
Oh, it's
Assassin's Creed
Man-Bat.
characters.
Guys, we
Oh
went
my
to
God.
guys.
Batman would beat the shit out of all the Templar and all the Assassin's Creed characters.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, I'm taking
because
this
he knows that
personal.
you like Assassin's.
We're gonna have to do another cut. This is getting cut. All this is getting cut.
No, keep it in.
Back to Wonder Woman, Matt. You had something you wanted to say.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought the opening scene was kind of meh. Apparently Patty Jenkins like kind of fought to keep it in, but I felt like it didn't really do much. Like it just manages to tie into the main theme of the film, which is that nothing good is ever born from lies. But even then, it kind of feels weak. And like Diana as a child displays a certain level of cleverness that in any other film would be praised and be like, oh man, this is really cool and clever, and she's witty and quick-witted and all that stuff. But like instead they kind of treat that as if it's supposed to be like bad. And then they use that as the catalyst for the film's message, but it just kind of feels like they didn't need to flash back to her time on Themyscira. Colin?
Yeah, so just jumping off that real quick plot hole point.
Okay.
After she cheated in that race, right? And like we did the whole like thing. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Have you seen the movie? I'm assuming this is how they know she cheated, but they didn't explicitly say this, so I'm just gonna point it out anyway. Even if they didn't notice that she didn't technically hit the fourth or third checkpoint, so even if they didn't catch her cheating, you still wouldn't have won. That's all I want to point out. Yeah, I don't know if that's how they knew she cheated. I'm assuming it was.
That is definitely how they knew. I think Diana in that moment, she wanted the glory of having gone to the finish line and didn't. Oh shit! Maybe it is actually a good message. I just picked it apart in my mind, and I was just like, "Fuck."
Shit.
But still, I just felt like it wasn't as strong as it could have been. I've already talked about the music. Oh, so the locations, just the quest in general, kind of felt like it was jumping around from place to place without really letting us be like in the moment or could become attached to a particular location. Like in the first Wonder Woman, I really liked that, you know, we went from Themyscira to London, and then we spent most of the rest of it like, you know, in war, like in a particular location. We got attached to that location because of memorable set pieces that took place in those areas, like the town and No Man's Land and stuff like that. You have really impactful character moments that feel as impactful as they do because it feels as though the location in which it's happening is important to the way the scene is constructed. I didn't really feel that here because it jumps around a lot, and the way the story progresses, I felt like there were too many plot devices that will show up, introduce a concept right when they're brought into the plot, at the very moment in which they are necessary. So like something will be an inconvenience. It'll be like, how do we get out of this? Now, oh, there's that thing. Now we have the solution to our problem. And the worst part was when there was the suit of armor. They talk about it. They talk about its history, why it's important.
Oh my god! And then she just whoops it out of the closet.
But it's worse than that because they show it in the corner of a room and like, hey, what's that? Oh, it's an armor that we flashed back to 20 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. And then it shows up later. Colin?
Yeah, okay, so going back what you said about how they kind of bring in plot points when it's necessary, but then kind of forget about them when it's like they don't have a reason for them. You remember back in the first movie where Diana's mom was like, no, you can't train my daughter and stuff, right?
Right.
Wouldn't she figure that out if she saw her daughter competing in these games from '84?
Oh, like
she obviously eventually let her train her.
No, right, but they show that in the first one though. They show her being like, all right, you can train her, but at that point she's like Diana's like the equivalent of like 14, 15.
I really hope you're wrong, Colin.
I'm not. No, right. Go back, watch it. Go back to watch the first one.
If you're right, then I don't know what the fuck to say anymore.
Well,
who the fuck is the editorial for this? Like, it's some fucking like, just it's so easy.
You only did 2 movies.
Well,
Where's your cohesion?
Well, that was kind of my point from earlier, but the way I'd respond to that is that if you think about it, again, this is why I don't like that opening scene, because it was unnecessary, introduces too many different questions like this. But you could perhaps explain it by saying that maybe her like being reprimanded for cheating per se in that tournament was what led her mother to be even more strict about her not training because she wasn't ready, or because she hadn't matured to the point where she was ready to go further with that training.
That's fair.
But again, it's like I had to explain that right now, even though I can come up with the reason in my mind. If the film should have some way of expressing that, and since they had to, for some reason, flash back to it in the second film, which already thematically feels inconsistent with later entries with this character, it's a mixed bag, and it's like bleh, whatever. CG looked pretty terrible. There's a Twitter post that said it was the picture of her running when she was like running down that road in the Middle East, and it was like the caption of the tweet was like, when you're actually in a place like in a place on set. But it was just a picture of her against
just a treadmill with a green screen in the background. That's what it was.
But oh my god, I lost it. It was perfect. Yeah, so I feel like the CG is worse than anything that was criticized in the first film. Like, the first film had some moments where you could be like, yeah, this isn't quite as good as like the CG in like Marvel. But was it as bad as Mark Ruffalo Hulkbuster though?
Wait,
I think what Colin's, because I believe what Colin's referring to, you're talking about Infinity War, when they have the shot of him in the background, just superimposed Mark Ruffalo face.
Yeah. See, but it was quick enough to where I didn't even notice it the first time. Somebody had to point that out to me.
Exactly. Like if I'm talking about stuff that's in motion, like when you watched Wonder Woman, the first one, you could tell that there were moments where there were moments where you could tell that the way the characters move, there was a loss of a conception of weight and stuff like that. I will definitely say though, what made up for it in the first film was the action and the I think just the directing in general and the way that they went about composing these big moments of spectacle. And I wasn't as thrilled with the action in this film, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, the action was not nearly as awesome as the last one of Diana leaping into buildings, busting buildings down after snipers, running into no man's land. Like, that was fucking awesome.
Breaking that dude's rifle in half.
It was so. And then the Ares fight at the end, like the scene where she goes up on no man's land, she's like, "I'm no man," or whatever she says. Like, that's so cool.
That's not what she said.
I feel like a lot of that though, and the reason why the action of the first one is better than the second though, is because it's the Black Panther effect. The women of Black Panther take that, and you don't have the other Amazonians in the second one doing stuff,
Right.
I feel like. Yeah, I thought they were the best part of the first one. I thought they were so cool.
They were pretty cool.
They are.
So going to Kristen Wiig, I think a big part of what I loved about, Barbara Minerva's whole like arc is that, it was a transformation that was satisfying because she performed both sides of the spectrum really well. She performed the, girl who's just kind of, she's ignored by people, and she just feels like a lack of confidence. And then when she has that confidence and she finally is like becoming who she thought she always wanted to be, it's like really well done. And I'll make it really quick. The only other thing I want to say is that I feel like the only point in the film I felt really emotionally attached was in a similar way to the way the first film made me, was like Diana's speech at the end. It felt very personal and like it was really directed right at the audience. And in a way that I felt was like fitting, especially for the time in which the film is coming out. So Wonder Woman 84 feels like a sequel that was made by a different team. So it's kind of worse that it's the same people who made it. I've long praised DC's direction and the way they allow directors to take risks. This is an example where I feel like the risks taken didn't pay off as well as they could have, and it led to a film that I'd be interested to rewatch for the parts I liked, but I'd have to temper that against the feelings of like, oh God, do I really want to sit through this stuff again?
Right.
I ultimately feel like Wonder Woman, the first one, was a far better film. I'm going to give Wonder Woman 84 a C+.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Let's Colin, let's give you our final thoughts on Wonder Woman.
Yeah, really quick. Wonder Woman 84, didn't like as much of the first one. Still say they're about on equal footing. The first one a little higher than 84. 84 I like personally because of the campiness. So if you want to see a Wonder Woman movie as if it was made by Sam Raimi, go watch it. I like it for that reason.
Nice.
Pretty concise.
As much as I shit on it for plot holes, I still enjoyed it. So go on to.
I mean, honestly, you could probably find plot holes in like most movies.
Well, right.
There's so many plot holes in Endgame.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know about Endgame. That's pretty solid right there. All right, Colin. Wait, what letter grade are you giving it? Throw it out.
Oh, right. I'm giving it a solid
Z for
8 Amazonians out of 10.
Nice. I'm down with that. Frank, final thoughts?
I thought it was a fun movie.
So wait. Colin, you're giving it an 80%? You're giving it a B?
Yeah.
It's a B minus.
Oh.
No, 79.5, Frank. It's a B minus.
I'm pretty sure 80 is still a B minus.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, go on.
Only a fucking nerd would know that.
Oh.
What are you, a college graduate, you nerd?
Yeah, look where that got me.
Archaeology.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man.
It's very cool, Colin. I think that rewatching it without hype built around it, I'm going to enjoy it way more the second time around. I think it's a fun movie. It's a Wonder Woman movie. It's different than like Superman and Batman type movies because it's just different. You know,
it just is. Okay.
It's
what are you trying to say? Because it's a one.
Oh my God.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, okay, so off topic really quick. They literally made the ending of Wonder Woman, like the whole thing was like the power of love. And I was telling someone to watch it, and he's like, I'm not watching that. It's just going to be like the power of love fixes it all. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm watching it. And they're like, like, men may be so cruel, but with love. And I'm like, why would they do that? That's terrible.
Wait, in the first one?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I like that.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
You also liked Birds of Prey.
All right,
I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not gonna get into it. Sorry.
I mean, that's a good way to transition.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well, first we got to let fit.
It's a good movie. I liked it. It's not the best thing. It's not the best DC movie. It's solid. I'm gonna give it a B minus.
Oh,
yeah. We'll see. We'll see.
My rating is I haven't watched it yet. But now that everybody's shitting on it, maybe I'll have less expectations and I'll like it more because of it.
Maybe
that's what happened with the Venom for me.
So I'm gonna give it a tentative B plus without even seeing it yet.
Okay. Fair
I
enough.
like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Just because of Pedro Pascal.
I would definitely go
Nice.
check it out. It's definitely worth the watch for sure. It's on HBOMax. Just go get yourself a 7-day free trial. Like Matt
Yeah,
did,
honestly, though. Yeah.
and check it out.
Like you literally can watch a movie that's in theaters for like $10 to $15 right now for free. So just go
Well,
watch it.
maybe, because the only reason I got a free trial to HBO Max was because I bought Tenet on Blu-ray and got a code.
I'm sure there's some kind of free trials out there, honestly.
Yeah, so buy Tenet.
Yeah. There you go.
Just
Buy
go
Tenet.
buy
Good movie.
yourself an HBO Max subscription.
I'm pretty sure
Probably
for
like
less than
$5
$10.
or some shit. But let's segue into our next topic, which we're gonna. I believe it's our favorite movie/show of 2020 and game of
Slash
2020, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just favorite things.
Our favorite entertainment.
Oh, okay. So
media
it doesn't
things
have
of
to be.
2020.
Oh, perfect.
What
Right.
I'm calling the best of what we could find of 2020.
I like
I
it.
do like that.
fucking
I do
honestly
like
though,
that.
Jesus Christ.
And let's not do any Mandalorian because.
Oh
it's
sure, just
beautiful.
throw me out the window then.
The one thing I watched.
The one thing I legitimately watched.
Wait, were you actually going to talk about
Yeah, you
Mando?
bastard.
If you want to talk about Mando more, you can. Feel free.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could just. I mean, it would actually be pretty quick. You just be like, number one best show of the year, Mando. Here we go.
Perfect.
Well, my number one best
Yeah,
show of the year is
actually,
Mando.
Michael needs to start this off. He has not been. He
All right.
didn't,
No.
talk much.
All right, do you guys want me to just go through everything, or are we just saying like one thing at a time?
No,
right
no,
now?
maybe like list a few things that you like
Yeah.
games, movie shows, whatever. Your favorite stuff that you
Alright.
can find.
I'm gonna go off my number one things of the year so far.
All right.
I'm
Number
going
one.
TV shows.
WatchMojo.com.
Fucking
Number
my-
one.
Mandalorian, obviously, because
It's a given.
honestly, I don't even know what other shows I'd watch in 2020. I mean, literally, can you guys name another show? I mean, literally,
Yes.
like actually.
I
Name
can name a
Uh,
bunch.
Okay,
I'm
a
not
couple.
gonna name them because they're my favorite.
Oh yeah. I literally, I could not think of any other. I'm like, what? Oh, I'm like, oh, easy. I can name what. And I was thinking, okay, the stuff I watched in 2020 is actually all older stuff.
What about Bly Manor?
That was terrible.
It was-
Fuck.
Oh, you didn't like
That was
that?
a terrible show. No, Hill House is so much better than Bly Manor. Don't at me. It's fucking terrible.
No, you are completely correct.
Okay, it's not terrible. It was good in the beginning, and then at the end, I was like, "Why?"
All right. You're gonna.
Anyways,
We gotta stop calling things terrible and then like contradicting ourselves.
Yeah, we're doing that a
like,
lot.
what if somebody out
I don't
there
know
like
what-
really loves it, and I'm shitting on?
Yeah, it's just an exaggeration, which makes it funny.
Yeah,
But then we're like, oh, it's not bad. Don't worry.
Anyways, Mandalorian is my favorite because
Nice.
anything fucking Star Wars, I love. You know what?
Pedro Pascal, Mandalorian, Star Wars, Baby Yoda, Luke Skywalker. Sign me up.
Grogu.
I'm a simple man. You put Star Wars on a show and I watch it.
That's true. And now that like we're getting so many other Star Wars things, like I'm just happy that this is leading into like so many other Star
One
Wars.
Division
things.
in 2 weeks, baby.
Oh, I'm so excited.
God, it is.
I'm so
I know.
God,
excited.
Wait, what's
13
in 2
days.
weeks?
I love
WandaVision.
Wanda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else? What?
Yeah, we already talked about Mando, so I'm not going to go into it. Besides that, favorite game. I know Matt's going to hate me for this. Cyberpunk. Actually.
So basically, Michael
sense.
likes everything we talked about in the first episode.
Yeah, honestly though, yeah.
Look, I don't blame him.
I was-
Cyberpunk's good without the bugs.
No, yeah,
Honestly,
absolutely.
And I'm seeing a lot of people saying like, there's not a lot, but there's some people coming out and being like, even without the bugs, Cyberpunk is a terribly, terrible, awful, flawed, terrible game. I'm like, I wouldn't say that.
I mean,
I
the
feel
driving
like-
sucks.
I
mean,
think
honestly, it is.
Fine.
AI is
car
like,
driving sucks. Motorcycle's fine.
listen, so this is the problem people had with Cyberpunk, right? So they were like, hey, look at all these bugs, and they're like, oh my god, this is gonna save my marriage. This game's gonna be next gen as hell. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I guess CD Projekt Red kind of marketed it as that. But like, I was just expecting it to be a good game, and it came out and it was a good game. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be anything more than a good game.
I feel like Cyberpunk is gonna get the treatment AC Unity did. Unity, best AC of this generation. It just got shit on because of the bugs.
Yeah, no, honestly. I mean, even honestly, if you remember, Witcher got shit on. I'm pretty sure we said this last episode, but still, Witcher got shit on for a while because it was pretty buggy. But because they weren't as big as of a developer, they weren't called out on it. Now that they're
Right.
super big or really big because of Witcher, now people are like, "What the fuck is all this shit?" But honestly, Cyberpunk, I'm really, really enjoying it. Again, it's like still the game that I'm even after what has it been 2 weeks since we did that? I don't even remember. Even after these 2 weeks, I'm still like, damn, I want to go home and play Cyberpunk.
Makes
Been
sense.
keeping me for this long, and I've been doing all of the side stuff. Besides that, the only other thing that I would say, at least the only thing I can think of that I even watched that's from 2020 is Extraction. That good old Chris Hemsworth.
That was
right?
really
It's called
good.
Extraction,
That was
right?
really-
That
that was good.
movie, yeah, that movie was fucking.
It actually was.
awesome
It was really
with the,
good.
like ongoing shots they did and like the action,
Yeah.
like action movie wise, that has to be a top tier. movie.
Yeah, it was produced by the Russo brothers, and it was directed by
Oh, there we
Sam.
go.
It was directed by Sam Hargrave, who himself is a stuntman. And that car chase in the film was actually him strapped to the front of a car with the camera. That's how he was able to get all those crazy shots.
See,
It was actually super
that's
risky.
Awesome. That is awesome. A man who takes risks like that is a good man in my book.
Yeah, that was that, and that movie came out like mid-COVID, and everyone's like, "You gotta watch it."
Yeah, honestly. Well, the thing is, I only heard like a few people like, "You gotta watch it." That kind of fizzled away, which it really shouldn't have. I feel like it was a really good movie, and more people should watch it. So if you haven't seen it yet,
Oh, it was.
And I'm
trending
sure
on
y'all
number
have
one
Netflix.
on Netflix
Yeah.
for a really long
was it
time.
really okay? Good. Well, go
At
watch
least
it again.
maybe a month.
And,
which is a long time.
And while you're at it, you can watch The Old Guard starring Charlize Theron because that was also a very good action film.
Oh, I wanted to watch that. I didn't get around to watching
Yeah,
it.
I need to watch that.
Pretty
so-
good.
That's
Pretty
like,
good.
I was literally when we were talking about like topics for this podcast, I'm like, what even came out in 2020?
Dude, I had to look up a list of 2020
So
game
did I.
releases. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I was gonna joke at first to be like Among Us, my favorite 2020.
Oh my god, I would have been so
I
mad.
don't think Among Us came out in 2020.
I don't think
No,
it did,
it
but it blew
didn't.
up in 2020.
It just blew up in
Yeah.
2020. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
big controversy with the Game Awards. Was that it's like doesn't really count. But
I mean,
Wait,
it's
did
kind
it
of
get
like, didn't that
nominated
happen with
again?
Fortnite?
yeah,
too?
it got nominated alongside. It was nominated in the mobile game category,
Oh.
as well as like I think well mainly because it blew up so huge this year. I think they just consider it to be a new release because I don't think anybody knew what the hell it was before this year.
Well, honestly, I feel like that should give it actually a little bit more. 'Cause,
I
like,
agree.
if you think about it, like, what if a game came out like 3 years ago, it was terrible or whatever it was, and then they fixed it up, and now like all of a sudden everybody's playing it in 1 year,
Mhm.
like you can't give a game of the year even though it's like the most popular game of the year. Like realistically, there's no. I mean, I guess some awards do specifically say like game of 2020 specifically, but some of them are just like game of the year in general, like whatever game is the best game of this year. So it
Yeah,
really
that's
could be
fair.
any game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I do think that it's still warranted, but at the same time, like with like Fortnite and stuff like that, it's like you went a little too far. Like that was popular. Like
Did
last year.
Fortnite actually get nominated again?
Not
For
this
best
year.
ongoing, I think it was in
Was
the
it really?
ongoing in the ongoing game category because they're
Oh.
continuing to
Didn't they
support
make-
it.
Didn't they make that category for Fortnite specifically? Basically, like didn't
Well-
that start?
well,
Like
This
the
is
year-
why I don't watch the Game Awards.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Okay, hold on. Side tangent. Fortnite has continually made some of the coolest shit.
Look,
In a
again, I have
multiplayer
no
game.
problem with the game. I have the problem with the culture behind it.
Yeah, honestly, that's
Same
true.
with my problem with League too.
Yeah, honestly, that's true.
Yeah, I can.
You know what?
The-
actually
the
really
Marvel
grinds
event-
my gears. The Marvel event. You want to know why it grinds my gears? Make a good fucking Marvel game instead of adding these to Fortnite, please.
It was a better Marvel game than
Put
Marvel's The
Mando
Avengers.
in the fucking Battlefront game as a downloadable.
I feel like
content.
it's very simple to make an Avengers game. There's
Or
so
even
much
just give
comics.
Boba like a reskin for Mando or something.
honestly. I mean, honestly, Marvel, The Avengers technically came out this year as a game. It was terrible, but it came out.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's
True.
putting that on his list.
No, it's not. on the list.
Excuse me, Frank.
Oh.
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, he's
I
up
never
next.
played it.
Frank. He's up next.
Oh, am I? Oh, I'm honored. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
we
done.
just
Okay.
we literally just decided that now.
yeah.
Okay. I've seen a total of like 3 movies, 2 of those being Wonder Woman in the past 3
Colin,
days.
that's
So-
more than me.
Oh, good point. Good point.
No,
Canada- I think the other one was a Bollywood movie that didn't actually even come out this year, so that doesn't count. So I'm just gonna choose a
All right.
show and a game.
You can do a movie too. Why not? Just throw one in there. Whichever one is the
Oh,
best one of the 3. you
fuck.
watch.
Oh, best one of the 3, first Wonder Woman. That didn't come out this year though. So
I mean, you can
best
do the Bollywood one if you want.
that was all right. Show though, Raised by Wolves, made by I can't remember his name. Guy who did Alien.
Ridley.
Ridley
Ridley
Scott.
Scott. Yeah,
Ridley
yeah.
Scott, yeah.
Fucking great show. I finally finished it the other day in my room, and throughout the entire time of me watching it, I was like pushing my hair back, audibly saying, "What the fuck is happening right now?"
See, now
in
that's
like
a good show.
way. Yes.
See, that's what Mando did for me. That's why Mando's my number 1.
yeah. But like it makes you feel like you're in a fever dream, but like in a good way.
Oh,
you
shit.
know? Like if you like Alien, you're gonna
Yeah, if you like
so
being in a
good.
fever dream.
But it's got my boy Travis Fimmel, who played Ragnar in Vikings. Vikings also great show.
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah. I did watch that.
Bayek's voice actor, I can't remember his name. Abu Bakr Salim, I think is his name.
What a
Could be
name.
wrong.
Yeah, right?
Man,
Al Bakr Salim.
I like it.
for a name that you couldn't
Um,
remember, you sure remembered that.
Let me look it up real quick. Bayek actor.
I want to hear.
I think it is.
Hear your
yes, I was right. Abu Bakr Salim. Both of them great in it. Great actors. Favorite game? Gotta say, Crusader Kings 3 have 320 hours in it. Still playing it.
God, shit! I thought you were actually going to say Valhalla, and I was going to joke and be like, "What about Crusader Kings?" But
no, man,
you proved me wrong.
Yeah, dude, in a game where I can create an empire of nudist cannibal witches, you can't beat that. Can't beat it.
That is pretty poggers.
Yeah. Oh my God, Matt.
Off.
That is there's a few words
off.
on my list to never speak. You just used the number one word
You're
right
done.
now.
Oh man, that just proves how little we've been hanging out lately over quarantine.
Oh God. Maybe that's for the best. No,
oh my God. But Crusader Kings.
To put this, or wait, for 1 second. To put this into perspective, Frank's 11-year-old cousin has been saying poggers because he plays Minecraft.
He plays like Sky Wars, like the multiplayer games.
He's like poggers.
He's like, that's so pog.
Oh my God.
Does he ever say papage? That's the extreme version.
Never have I ever been so tempted to channel my inner Hayden Christensen and just slaughter some kids.
do you want me to substitute? I can just start calling things based.
Master Skywalker.
Did you hear what he just said?
What did you just say? What did you just say?
I said based. Yeah.
What does that mean?
You know, I kind of like that.
Yeah. It's like
that's
respectable.
So
oh man, that's so based.
Hey, Wonder Woman 1984.
Based.
I feel it. Going back to the poggers thing
podcast.
real quick.
Oh God.
I feel like the only reason the younger generation is saying it seriously because they hears the older generation saying it ironically, and they think we're serious.
Yeah, you know what? Probably true.
Yeah.
There's probably one kid who heard it, and then they're like, "Oh my God, man, that is poggers."
Is this the new hip thing to do as an 11-year-old middle schooler?
I mean,
my older brother joked about it to one of his friends. It must be real cool.
I mean, that's what I want to do now with like cyberpunk like terminology and like the game.
Chooms,
yeah, or like flatline.
Y'all,
or
you get new Chrome choom.
Oh man, that's real preem.
That's real preem.
Okay.
Got the cred.
That is
what's the biz?
So Colin, are you done, or do you have anything else?
Oh, no, I just no, I'm just gonna leave it off with Crusader Kings 3. Probably still gonna be playing it. Knowing Crusader Kings 2, they're gonna have a stupid amount of DLC, and because it's Paradox, they're gonna milk the shit out of it. But you know what?
Own it.
But you know what? I'm still gonna buy it because I love the game. So I'm a shill for
Suck
Paradox.
that cock. Suck that cock.
Okay, Frank, Matt.
My favorite media subscription service, Game Pass, because I got Crusader Kings from it.
Hey, made Sweden, great times.
Yeah, true.
Oh, also, HBO Max. While you're watching 84, Raised by Wolves, also on HBO Max.
Oh, also,
I do want to see that.
Also, just added to HBO Max the entire Batman animated series.
Just got on in January 1st, Matt, and Batman Beyond. Beauteous. Batman Beyond's on it too.
Did you not know Batman Beyond?
I did not
HBO
know.
Max has got the goods, my friends. You got all DC stuff. You got the Studio Ghibli movies,
and
like,
Crunchyroll, it's all beautiful.
What else more? It's great. It's great.
So Frank, I'm a bitch who doesn't like to shut up. Do you want to go first?
Frank, you'll go first.
Sure. All right. So, I love Mando. Well, first off, movies. I haven't watched a ton of movies. I watched Extraction with Michael, and I did watch Wonder Woman. Those are both good movies. Probably my two favorite of 2020, just for the limited selections of movies.
Yeah, at least that you watch.
Yeah, TV show wise, what do you call it? Mando, of course. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It was amazing. I love it. Star Wars.
I'm going to interject for just a second. Did anybody watch Fat Man by any chance?
What was that?
It's a movie called Fat Man where Mel Gibson tries to assassinate Santa Claus. And it came out this year, and I have not watched it, but I really want to from how ridiculous it is.
We should have done that for a Christmas episode.
Oh, damn it. You're right. But you know what that reminds me of is the song in Nightmare Before Christmas where there's those little demon children singing, let's beat up Santa Claus with a stick.
It's Mel Gibson was one of those kids.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, Frank, go ahead. Continue. And it was good. Next.
No worries. No worries. Mando was awesome. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Breathtaking, actually. I cried twice after watching Luke come out. That was pretty amazing.
That was really good. Did you hear that Star Wars series is actually getting shit for crying? Like, there's people like coming after him. It's ridiculous.
Fuck
Anyways,
them.
yeah,
They're terrible.
Pablo Hidalgo that did it though in the first place.
Yeah, fuck him too.
Fuck Pablo Hidalgo. You heard it first here, guys.
Fuck that guy.
You heard it here. Hashtag fuck Pablo.
Fuck that guy. So that was my favorite, and I do. Never mind. Sorry.
Retracting statement.
My other favorite show of 2020 was The Boys. Now it came out. Season 2 came out in 2020.
Okay. True.
And that show I started watching off a recommendation
Of me.
And not
Initially,
you.
first I told you to watch it.
I was
and then
recommended
somebody
it
else told
from
you to
a
watch
dude from the comic store.
Yeah, sure.
It is such a good fucking show. I have not read any of the comics, and I don't want to because I don't want to spoil the show. That's how good it is. And I am a comic first type person. I don't read books, but I would be a book first person. Pictures, people, pictures. But it's such a good show. It's basically, I don't want to spoil anything because you need to watch it. Matt, if you haven't seen it, you would fucking love it.
Which, The Boys?
Yes. Dude.
Oh yeah.
You have to watch it. Michael,
I probably won't, but
Colin, you need to watch it too. You're not doing anything.
Wait, Matt, you said you won't watch it?
Well, here's what I promise you will happen. Just let me explain. The Boys, the whole time while season 2 is airing, I kept telling myself I should watch it, but I kept getting just video recommendations on YouTube. So I've pretty much seen like 70. It's pretty much the same way I kept up with Game of Thrones after my dad got rid of HBO. I've pretty much seen 70% of it. I just need that extra 30 for it all to click. But I'm probably never gonna actually get the motivation to be like, I'll watch it.
Right now, Matt, it's okay.
How do you feel with what?
With Boruto.
Oh, yeah, honestly though, true. Yeah.
Well, apparently they're finally getting to the bullshit. But
I will never watch that. Anyways,
wait until like a recap movie or something.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, The Boys is awesome. I love that show. It's basically in a universe where the superheroes are basically owned by these corporations, or there's one big bad corporation, and they're pretty much bad, the superheroes. And like, I guess the actual superheroes are like the good guys are just normal people that are like scheming against these like juggernauts. Like there's a character named Homelander who is basically Superman, but he's evil, and it's really fucked up, but also a really cool show. So that's probably my favorite show of 2020. My favorite game is definitely Cyberpunk.
Hey.
No shot. Cyberpunk is probably one of my favorite games of all time, to be honest.
Mine too.
It's a fucking awesome game, and I haven't played that much of it, and I love it.
You just love Jack, don't you?
Jackie is one of my favorite fictional characters of all time. That man, like when we busting in, just pulling his guns out and shit. Like I'll ride and die for Jackie.
Just
like,
wait till you be Act 1.
I know.
You still haven't been Act 1?
No.
What the fuck?
He's a very busy man. Trust me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I need to play it. And he keeps distracting me by fucking making me play Call of Duty and shit.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. You're the one who comes in my room and asks me to play Call of Duty.
You get to, by the way, ungrateful little shit.
So my last favorite thing of entertainment for 2020 isn't a movie or a show. It's actually a comic book.
Ooh.
It was probably one of the most anticipated DC comic books of like the last like 5-6 years. At the end of the New 52, they came out that there were 3 Jokers in the universe, and they announced that they were going to make a Batman the 3 Jokers comic series. And we've been waiting for so long, and there's a whole laundry list of reasons of why the book was postponed. But the writer, Jeff Johns, is basically the best writer to ever write comics at DC. He's the guy that he doesn't write very much there anymore because he's working on shows and movies and stuff. which I wish they would let him just take the reins of all that stuff, and he would make it a lot better. But
Maybe he'll come back for Daredevil.
it's drawn.
Wasn't there a controversy about him?
Yeah, actually there is,
Yeah.
but who cares?
But we ignore that. I enjoy what he makes.
Okay.
He's a great writer. I don't really
He
care.
made Daredevil the Netflix series, and I
No.
love him.
He-
Wait, wasn't that
he
him?
didn't. That's Jeff Loeb, my friend.
Fuck!
Yeah, different Jeff.
Jeff Loeb wrote
Other
Hush
Jeff.
and Long Halloween.
Different Jeff
Yeah.
with a G.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Actually, it's Jeff with a
Geoff.
J.
Oh,
Jeff
Jeff Loeb is Jeff with a J?
No,
Jeff Loeb is spelled like Geoff, but with a J.
Is it really?
Oh.
Yes. it's
Geoff.
like
Oh,
Geoff
and the
Inception.
plastic.
Yeah, I know. It's confusing. But this book is a 3-issue miniseries, which I had the fun of collecting all the different covers
He's only
during
holding
the summer.
3 of them in his
I have
hand
3
right
of
now.
them in front of me. But it's drawn by this guy named Jason Fabok. He's not a huge artist, but he's like the best artist on the planet. Like, if you like anything Batman, you should fucking read this now. It's about 3 Jokers, and basically the main characters are Batman, Barbara Gordon, and Jason Todd, all 3 most affected by the Joker. And the story deeply explores the trauma of Jason Todd and Barbara Gordon, of how being shot and paralyzed by the Joker and being killed by the Joker, like, they go through that trauma, and Batman is doing his detective stuff, trying to figure stuff out. And it's really, really cool because the 3 Jokers all embody different eras of the Joker. Like, there's one that's like the scary first one, because when the Joker was first made, he was like just a killer, and they killed him off, and then they brought him back and stuff. The second one's like the fun one from the Silver Age that just wants to like torture people and do funny stuff. I guess.
Fun stuff like torture.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
Normal things like
And then
that.
the third one's the one from like the Killing Joke and stuff like that. But it's fantastic. It has a little bit of a controversial end, and it's the closest thing to a sequel to the Killing Joke too. They even have scenes from the Killing Joke in it, and the art style and the paneling is all based off of the Killing Joke. So it's like incredible. I think anyone should read it. It's really, really, really good. The art is fantastic. The story is awesome. And they did a thing, this lastly, I'm about to be done, but they did a thing which each issue, there were 3 issues, they did different covers. So they took like all the incarnations of the Joker, and each cover has like the face of that incarnation. So I have like maybe like 50 of these, and they're all just like different incarnations of him, which all drawn by the
And
same
some of them
guy.
had like Red Hood, and
Well,
Batman
because
and
when the
Barbara.
Joker had the hood on, or the helmet thing, and they have like the Killing Joke Joker, they have the Laughing Fish Joker, stuff like that. So it was a really, really cool book, and it came out I think it came out August, September, October, I believe. So it was just like a 3-month thing. It was a nice thing to get you through the
Nice.
fall. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
I would give it. Did I rate? Are we rating anything?
I didn't rate
You don't really
anything.
have to.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
I'm not
considering
gonna
it's
rate
my favorites,
10
I'm
out of
giving
10.
everything on my list A's.
A's around.
Hey.
But yeah, if you definitely like reading comic books, or if you don't,
Read it anyways.
I don't know. It might be a little confusing, but if you've seen Batman movies and stuff, you could definitely read it. It's pretty darn neat.
Cool.
Matt.
Okay. The best we could find of 2020. I was telling Colin before the show that last year, because keep in mind I used to do a radio show where, I was doing a show with somebody who had like AMC like A-list. So like I could get into movies for free just by going with him. And so we watched movies and then reviewed them on the radio, and it was great. And I watched more movies in those 2 years doing radio than I had the past 3 years prior. I saw last year 32 movies. This year, it's a measly 19. I think I'll go with some of the worst films I saw this year first. I'll just kind of go down the list because I don't want to spend too much time on them because they're bad and they should feel bad. So,
Fair enough.
like 5 worst. The movie Twittering Birds Never Fly. The Clouds Gather.
I'm gonna stop you right there. That
Okay.
already sounds awful.
Yeah. So imagine if you
Is
will.
this an anime, Matt?
It is.
Oh, okay.
So imagine if you will, a movie about the Yakuza, and also it's a gay romance
Great game.
with a lot of
play it.
sexual content, but they can't draw
Nice.
penises. How do they do it? The
They
answer, not well. Number 4 worst, Artemis Fowl. This is only as high as it is on the worst of list.
Why'd you watch Artemis Fowl?
It was for a review. I watched
okay.
Artemis Fowl, and I like how you're so offended that I would.
No, but like I just want to know in what context would you watch that?
because again, it was for the show over the summer when we were streaming it on Twitch. I enjoyed watching it so much despite how bad it was. I've never seen a film try to make like a 12-year-old kid look so cool in my entire life. It was hilarious. Number 3rd worst, A Whisker Away, another animated film. I only was excited for it because the people who made it also made my favorite movie of 2019. It wasn't as good. Number 2 worst, Scoob. You'd think that a movie about Scooby-Doo and Shaggy...
Hey, that was a decent movie.
No, it wasn't.
It was
Scoob... for a movie about
It made fellas smile.
For a movie about Scooby-Doo and
really
Shaggy...
Exactly.
For a movie about Scooby-Doo and Shaggy, it really wasn't about Scooby-Doo and Shaggy at all. Worst film of the year is Mulan. Because
I haven't even watched it, but it sounds terrible.
Because it's a terrible film objectively, and also because they felt they had the audacity to film it next to a concentration camp, and then Disney had the further audacity to thank them for keeping everyone safe during filming of the film.
Oh, that seems like a poor scene casting, whatever the guy who makes location choices.
Lots of just shit going on with that film that just makes me disgusted. So that was all the negative stuff. So now I can just move on to only positive stuff, and I'll blitz through the rest of these. Top 5, Burn the Witch. It was a Bleach spinoff, took place in London. Dragons, hot girls. 4, Old Guard. Immortals, Charlize Theron just proving that she is just an incredible action star. Number 3, Tenet.
As if that wasn't already fucking known after Atomic Blonde.
Yeah, but like now we know that she can do it like again and again. Number 3, Tenet. I recently watched it. It definitely had its problems. It was a ballsy film in terms of how it was constructed and the type of story they wanted to say. They wanted to like create. Nolan, I think his genre is the spy genre. I think that's where I'd like to see him go further. This is such a weird film, but everything about it just really appeals to me and the aesthetics that interest me. Number 2,
so Inception 2 is from what I've heard.
pretty much. Number 2, My Hero Academia: Heroes Rising. I wasn't too crazy about the first film. The second film felt like the production-wise, it was a lot more consistent animation-wise. It had some of the coolest animated fights of the year, and one particularly incredible piece of work by Grandmaster animator Yutaka Nakamura that ended the entire film in a spectacular fashion that was so good that they didn't even need to have any sound effects going, just music the entire
Question
time. Yes?
for the Matt here. Does it involve them yelling plus ultra? And that's not me shitting on My Hero. That's just a legitimate
So, I mean, in that moment, no. It's mostly just it's just like it's one of my favorite things where it's all quiet except for the music, and then all this other like intense battle shit is going on, and it's just really quiet and somber. It's actually a lyrical version of the main show's theme. And then my number 1 favorite film of the year, which I know we'll have disagreements about this, Birds of Prey. This Kathy Yan's Tarantino-esque Rashomon, showing the most vibrant and exciting and wild part of Gotham City that we just don't get to see outside of like the old animated series. It showed Harley Quinn's like renaissance as a character, and this story about finding herself and escaping toxicity, while also introducing a cast of badass superhero gals that I would love to see in future films. So that's really it for the movies. Do
you mind if I make a comment on Birds of Prey?
Absolutely.
So I think this is funny because it kind of brings it full circle, because the first time we did a podcast with Matt, we actually reviewed Birds of Prey, which is just kind of full circle. So
you know what's even funnier? Both times I was on your show, we talked about Birds of Prey. because the
That's
first
funny.
time was me pitching it to you guys, and then the second one
Oh shit, you're
was
right.
and the
my god!
and then
Oh,
the
wow.
second episode was when we realized that I overhyped it for you
I
guys.
just can't escape this movie.
Yeah.
Truly.
I think that I'm not gonna like review Birds of Prey. I just wanted to say, I thought it was pretty bad, to be honest. The more I thought about it, and the second time I saw it, the way they do Cassandra Cain is so dirty, so dirty.
She's
Cassandra Cain
definitely
is
the
the
character
best-
I liked the least in the film. Yes.
She's the best Batgirl, and they made her nobody. It's terrible. That's enough. But
It's almost as bad
that's
as
what
Ray.
I wanted to say. Yeah, no, she was terrible. That's all.
Michael, I love shitting on the sequels as much as the next guy, but we've beaten that to death.
I know. I'm sorry. We're
Did
not going to start.
Did
that.
I
We're not
hear
gonna start
Ray?
that. Star Wars?
Ryan Johnson?
You guys are never gonna escape this being a Star Wars podcast. You're never.
No.
you're never
We'll
gonna
always do it
escape.
later. I'm sorry. Star Wars
In
is
some
a thing
way.
we can talk about forever. We'll do a Star Wars episode eventually.
The whole thing is a Star. The entire thing is whatever.
It's
Video
like,
game.
It's like the meme where it's like Anakin being like, I want a spin-off movie. And then Obi-Wan's like, Anakin, the entire movies is your spin-off series.
Honestly, it's more of the meme of it's all. I can't even say it. Never mind.
Just go back.
It's all Star Wars. It always has been with the astronauts pointing the gun at the guy.
Oh my god.
Video games. Just going like from number 3, number 2, number 1, Ghost of Tsushima, then Final Fantasy VII Remake, because and that one I'll pause to just say, you know, my only experience with Final Fantasy was like the hour that I played Final Fantasy 14 and the time I spent with Final Fantasy 15, in which I felt like Final Fantasy had some great ideas, but just was struggling to make something that was truly epic and memorable and exciting and climactic in the modern gaming age. Final Fantasy VII Remake completely shattered that impression. It was so well done and was actually a competent action game as well as an RPG. I had such fun getting to fall in love with all of these characters that have been icons throughout video game for ages. And my number 1 was Last of Us Part 2 for a list of reasons too numerous to count, but I'll just say it was good.
Can I just going off of that? I'm not saying anything about Last of Us 2, but I'm just saying Jedi Fallen Order got snubbed both years.
At the Game Awards.
Honestly,
Deserve more praise.
It really did. It was a great game.
It got
Fallen
snubbed.
Order is a fantastic
It's
game.
a fantastic.
It got snubbed when it came out because it came out too late, and then it got snubbed this year because it came out too early.
Wait, Fallen Order came out in 2020?
Came out
It came out
2019.
but they
Like the
counted
end
it
of
as this
2019.
year. Yeah.
It's because it was after the cutoff. It was really
got it.
late in the year.
Yeah, it really got snubbed. And then you also have
It
it like
came out
coming
right when this the Rise of Skywalker came out, correct? I forgot that.
Yes, like
The
really
time
like right.
twist.
Yep.
Yep, that's
Mhm.
true.
I'll play it one of these years.
Oh, it's a great game.
I
It
I
really
know.
should.
I'm
playing
sure
it
I'll
is
love it. I'm sure
fucking
I'll love it.
awesome.
But I could play it, or I could play Sekiro a 5th time.
Or you could play
recommend
Sekiro, or you could play a game that does Sekiro better.
Yes.
I don't know if I agree with that. From the time that I
That's 'cause
did,
you haven't played it.
but I did play it though. I played it for like a couple hours at your place. Remember? All right. Well, whatever. TV. We'll just go through that. I didn't watch enough TV to have a worst of list, nor did I play enough games to have a worst of list. Top 3: The Great Pretender on Netflix. A very excellent series about like this international group of con artists. You can watch it on Netflix. It's very good. English dub is also very good. My Hero Academia season 4, because it was
No spoilers.
because season 3 kind of I wasn't crazy about it. It was the most hyped one, but it was also the moment where I think the fan base was becoming divided, because it was like the show was really popular, but now it's too popular, so people are like contrarian and calling it shit. Season 4 was like the moment where like now the fan base is culled. All the people who were contrarian are gone. It's only the people who love it who remain. And season 4 I thought was so fucking tight, and the villains and the fights and every arc was just exciting. I cried more watching My Hero Academia season 4 than I did watching. Oh, there was a comparison I had here. I was trying to remember what it was. I think I cried more watching My Hero Academia than I did watching Weathering with You. which I realize I completely
Oh.
which I realize I completely forgot to put on this list.
Did that even come out this year?
It did. Well, the US
I don't think so.
the US release was this year.
I thought we
Speaking of
watched it
Weathering with
last year.
You, one of the other movies I watched, Your Name, didn't come out this year, but great movie that I saw this year.
When was the US release? I think I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, Weathering the English release was 2020. So
That
yeah,
was a good movie.
it was a good movie. I should have put that on the list. It was another one. Again, it's like I really had to
Shit,
struggle to
that
think
would be
about.
my number one movie this year, actually. Fuck Extraction. Weathering with You.
Yeah, all right. There we
Actually,
go.
no, Extraction is still good. I can't say anything, but Weathering with You is still a great movie.
And the number one show that I saw this year, it was from early in the year, back in January. It was Eizoken ni wa te o dasuna, or Keep Your Hands Off Eizoken, which is a show about these three girls running a film club, which is really just their excuse to create anime together. And not only is it just this incredibly heartfelt and hilarious show, but all of the characters themselves are really great personalities to represent different parts of like the production pipeline of animated television. And I think it's actually a really educational show because you have the character who's always the idea person. I kind of relate to them because they have all these incredible ideas, they flesh them out, but then it's like trying to make those ideas make sense as soon as they've had those great ideas. Like they'll have a night where you just have tons of crazy ideas and then you start writing them down and you're like, oh, this sucks. This is terrible. How the hell do I make this make sense? And then you have a character who is like the key animator. They're the one doing all of the action animation. They're the ones who are just constantly flipping through the pages, like looking at an animation cut of an explosion. They're like, why doesn't this look perfect? Why doesn't this look right? They're the ones who are like constantly looking up reference and laboriously making a cut that looks great. And then you have one of my favorite characters. You have a character who is essentially there to represent the business side of things. She's the one who's basically saying, like, we need to do this faster. We need to be more efficient. We might need to cut some corners, and it's all in service of getting, and also they're just trying to get the right amount of money to actually make what they're trying to make and make it well. I think that it's a show that anybody who's even remotely interested in animation or the craft should absolutely give it a watch. Without a doubt in my mind, this is one of the best shows of the year.
Well, I will have to put that on my list now, and you'll have to send it to me because I do not remember the name.
Yeah, it's Keep Your Hands Off Eizoken.
Okay. Well, when you said it the first time, my brain immediately like fried itself. So.
Yeah, it's because
you think I took the year of Japanese and learned it, Matt? Come on.
Did you actually? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did take a year.
Yeah, he did take a year of Japanese, and then that didn't go.
Yeah,
places.
I kind of just dropped it. Although, like, I still have the books and I still want to go back to it, but that's a conversation for another day.
So I guess we're done.
Yeah, I think that should wrap it up. I mean, that was everything we hit.
Did anyone want to say anything before we sign off?
Closing statements.
It's been a crazy year. Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. Hopefully, yeah. Welcome to the new year, everybody. Haven't seen you guys for a whole year. Knee slapper.
Ha ha! Second best joke of the year.
Oh, excuse me. I'd say that's first best. Override
Up for discussion.
Yeah, we'll have to
discussion. All right,
we'll have a podcast about that.
Matt.
Yeah, just places you can find me.
Wait.
I think he was trying to talk to you.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. We were.
Sorry. I was just sorry. I drank a vial of alcohol at the beginning of this because very, very stressful audio issues at the beginning of all this.
We've literally been doing that cue this whole time, so you're fine.
Nice. Nice.
I this year I started watching anime.
Oh, nice.
Hey,
I forgot to tell you about this.
I know.
Why isn't that on your? Oh, well, I guess it didn't come out in 2020.
I bet I can guess what Michael got you to watch first.
I bet you can't.
Clanad / Ki. No, okay.
Go ahead, guess.
Go ahead. Wait, Matt's turn.
I actually watched on my own.
I mean, well, see now Michael said that I wouldn't get it right because I was gonna say Sword Art Online, but maybe that's wrong.
Ooh, I want to watch that one.
Because I told him it was my favorite.
That one sounds cool. The first one I watched was Death Note.
I haven't even watched all that.
That's what I told him. I was like, shit, you're watching when I haven't even.
I'm almost done. I took a break from it, and I just jumped back into it, and it's fucking one of probably your top 5 favorite shows of all time. It's
Cool. You should watch the bad Netflix movie and then live tweet to us like how much you hate it.
We should watch Dragon Ball Evolution together because I've never seen it. I heard it's terrible.
no.
I would genuinely like to watch that and get drunk with all of you.
Next week, Tom.
I showed Frank enough Dragon Ball Z that I think he would hate it as well.
Yeah. But yeah, New Year.
Was that all you watched, or was there anything else that you watched?
I've watched some of Parasite.
That's cool.
What else have I watched?
Oh yeah, and Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball.
I think that's it so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll text
Actually,
her.
I have watched a few other ones, but I don't remember the name.
Did you start Attack on Titan yet?
I started one about a big tsunami like attacking Japan or something.
Oh, was that on Netflix?
Yeah.
Oh, that you're talking about Japan Sinks 2020. That was by Masaki Uwasa. That's a newer show that I've heard very mixed things about, so I'd be interested to hear what your opinion is.
I just watched one episode of it, so
Yeah.
I'll continue watching and let you know.
I've heard it's one of those types of shows where it's serious, but then sometimes something will happen that's like unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah.
And like
or maybe
not
it was intentionally hilarious.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
Anyways, Matt Sanata.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I had one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, self-plug. If you want to hear me and Matt occasionally play D&D with some other people, and follow the adventures of Lauren the Blood Hunter, Lemmy the Cleric, Talion the Ranger, Simon the Rogue, and Bep Sweat Dripper the other Rogue, where we try to stop a great holy war from happening. Tune in to twitch.tv/BigBoyBenjiBoy at 5:30 CST on Tuesdays.
Occasionally.
We don't occasionally. You're very special if you actually catch one of the times we stream. So,
You might want to spell.
Do you guys
that out
get any streamers? I mean, not viewers on it.
We'll put
that's two. That's something.
again.
It's a start.
Don't worry about spelling. I will be putting links and stuff in the description.
Oh, okay, good. I'll say you might want to spell Big Benji.
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
All right, sign us off, please.
All right, and if you want to find me, sakurasunrise.blog and animequarterly.com for my written content. My friend Chris has a radio show. I talked about that earlier. Thursdays from 8 to 10 p.m. Central Time on FM 89.1 WONC, Naperville, Chicago, where the rock never stops. But yeah, that'll be it for me, and that'll be it for all of us here. Next week we'll talk about something. I don't even know.
But that's the surprise of the show, Matt. You keep them leaving one for more.
Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed our ramblings and our discussions, and I hope you'll stick with us as we continue to kind of
perfect our
craft, get our sea legs, as it were.
Our New Year's resolution is becoming the best podcast of 2021.
Yeah, so I mean, it's absolutely going to happen. This is going to become one of the most popular podcasts on the planet.
Joe Rogan, look out, bro.
Yeah, so
fuck you, Critical Role.
So you could say that you're one of the OG fans. You know what I mean?
True
so, I was going to say like and subscribe, but we're not on YouTube. So maybe we'll be on Apple Podcasts soon.
Like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube when it eventually goes up.
In the future.
Oh yeah, I should upload that. I should start uploading to YouTube.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh shit.
All right.